Hello again, everyone. I want to try something a little bit different with this recording. What I want to do is go back through the homily on 1 Corinthians chapter 8, or the section of the homily on 1 Corinthians chapter 8 that I read out the other day. And I was just thinking that I would read through it and just paraphrase it. I'm not going to try to apply it to our situation in life or my situation in life so much as just read it and paraphrase it, because it is in an older style and some of the vocabulary may be a little bit difficult for some people. So I'm just going to go through and try and put the different sentences in different words and kind of more modern words, and hopefully won't be too basic. I think I'm gonna try and do it at a pretty basic level. So if it's too basic for you, well, I guess I'm sorry. But so the first sentence is, having said that we have knowledge, he added, knowledge puffeth up, but love edifieth, so that when it is without love, it lifts men up to absolute arrogance. Okay, so the first part is pretty simple. We have knowledge, and then knowledge puffs up. So knowledge inflates. And he's talking about pride there, I believe, and self-exaltation and that kind of stuff. But love edifieth, or love edifies, or in other words, love builds. Love builds up. And then he says, so that when it is without love, meaning when knowledge is without love, it lifts men up to absolute arrogance, which I think is pretty straightforward. And yet not even love, you will say, without knowledge hath any advantage. And so he's bringing up an objection here, and he's saying essentially that some objector might say, love without knowledge is no good. It's of no use. It brings no advantage. And so he responds, he says, well, this is not what, no, he says, well, let me read it out. Well, this he did not say, meaning that Paul did not say this, but omitting it as a thing allowed by all, he signifies that knowledge stands in extreme need of love. So he's basically saying Paul didn't say that love without knowledge is not advantageous, but he doesn't say it because he takes it as something that everyone already understands, that he doesn't need to say it. Because what he wants to emphasize is that knowledge has a great need of love. So going on, for he who loves, inasmuch as he fulfills the commandment, which is most absolute above all, even though we have some defects, will quickly be blessed with knowledge because of his love, as Cornelius and many others. So what's he saying? He who loves is fulfilling the commandment, which is most absolute of all, which is the most important of all. And so the person who loves may have some defects, but he will nevertheless quickly be blessed with knowledge because he has love. And then he points to Cornelius as an example of someone who loved and then was blessed quickly with knowledge because of that love. And then he goes on, but he that hath knowledge, but hath not love, not only shall gain nothing more, but shall also be cast out of that which he hath, in many cases falling into arrogance. So this is fairly straightforward, I think, too. It says, if you have knowledge but you don't have love, you will not gain more. I guess I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to there in terms of gaining nothing more. But he's saying that it's not going to lead you to the higher place. I think this is a fair rendering. That knowledge without love is not going to lead you up to love. You have to have love, and love is going to lead you higher, and love will give you knowledge, and then knowledge and love together will lead you higher. But knowledge without love will not be profitable to you, but it'll actually cause you to lose. It says that he that has knowledge without love shall be cast out of that which he hath. So you'll lose what you have, and then in a lot of cases you'll fall into arrogance. You'll lose the knowledge, you'll lose the understanding because you don't have the love that preserves it. And then he continues, it seems then that knowledge is not productive of love, but on the contrary, debars from it him that is not on his guard, puffing him up and elating him. So going on saying, knowledge is not productive of love, but on the contrary, debars from it him that is not on his guard. So if you have knowledge, but you're not on your guard, then you'll actually be debarred or cut off from love because you're puffed up and elated, he says, or inflated, I guess we might say. For arrogance is wont to cause divisions. In other words, arrogance often causes divisions among people, but love draws together and leads to knowledge. So love is going to draw people together and lead them to knowledge. And to make this plain, he saith, but if any man loveth God, the same is known of him. So I think that's pretty straightforward. If any man loves God, the same is known of God. So that I forbid not this, saith he, namely, your having perfect knowledge, but your having it with love, that I enjoin. Else it is no gain, but rather loss. So what he's saying, he's talking about Paul here. And he says that Paul means this, that I'm not forbidding you to have knowledge or to have a perfect knowledge. But what I'm saying is that you must have it with love. I'm enjoining you, I'm commanding you to have knowledge with love, because without love, it's no use to you, but it actually leads you astray. It leads you into arrogance. Okay, so that's a pretty long recording. I'm trying to keep these recordings short, and I think if I go on to the second paragraph of this, it's going to be a little bit longer than I want to. So I'll leave that for now and try to get this posted, and then maybe do the other paragraph a little bit later on, maybe later this week if I have time. And I think that's it. So thank you for listening, and I hope that was helpful to you, and please remember me in your prayers.